Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions for the next round of the Podium 1 Open Championship supported by Rafa Racing Club and Grid Finder. We are here at the Nuremburg after last week's round at Silverstone, and we have a quite large grid that we are absolutely ecstatic to bring to you tonight here on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel. It's me, Reese Gardner, Daniel Salmon alongside me in the commentary box to bring us this next round of the championship. Zippy, we are at a very foggy and it seems cold Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Only 19 degrees Celsius track temperature out there. This is going to be an interesting one. Huh. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it seems like the weather has been brought with you here, Zippy. It's looking pretty cold out there, and yeah, I think especially on cold tires at the start of the race, grip's going to be very sparing, isn't it? Absolutely. Good to have the grid bolstered by a few new members. For my money, Nürburgring Grand Prix is on the Princess-approved track list for me. Absolutely love this circuit. I love racing here. I love calling races here. It's such a difficult technical circuit and has a bit of old-school flair as well, with gravel traps lining a lot of the way around. But I suppose we should get into the meat of this show, Zippy. The schedule for this series, as always, looks very interesting indeed. We've come in partway through this championship, and we did round 6 at Silverstone, and I believe this is round 7 at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. And, well, we are going to be broadcasting all the way to the end of the season, aren't we? A great lineup of tracks on cue.
Yeah, Akiyama's going to be the next round, and I can see here that Cairo wasn't actually roasting me for being sick. He's actually saying silent, Zippy, because I'd forgotten to unmute myself yet again. Thank you, Rob Campbell, for calling me out on that. It's not the first time, we're sure. It won't be the last. I'm going to claim ailment for this one, ladies and gentlemen, but thankfully we were able to get that sorted out at the very start of the race, ladies and gentlemen. But it's good to see that we do indeed have a grid, this time of 21 drivers, ladies and gentlemen, and what an eclectic mix it is. We've got Austin Diltz there in the chat. You beauties, got to say, feeling the love here from another one of the WBM drivers, actually one who we did call out by name, I believe, actually, last week. And yeah, Cairo ends there with maybe a bit of both. Thank you, buddy. By all means, pull me out anytime you guys feel the urge. But let's actually see very quickly how some of these WBM guys are doing, with Fozzie Basilio currently rocking the McLaren.
Yes, indeed. Driving the McLaren around in the 15 minutes of qualifying that is currently running. Only going to have a minute left in about a second's time. There it is. 1 minute warning. If you're on a lap, make sure you finish it. And well, we'll have a 5-minute warm-up where we'll go through the championship points, and then a 40-minute timed race with a single pit stop required for fuel. This is a GT3 format that we've seen run so many times, and it works for a reason.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I'm just having a quick look at the standings here. It looks like we've got Josh Wilford, who's managed to sneak into the bronze class. Now, that guy is rocking about 5,000 iRating, so it's fair to say he's about to be reclassified, ladies and gentlemen. He can go in the gold bracket with an iRating like that.
Certainly can. Let's see how he does in the BMW M4. Also notice that Doug Sorrentino is here as well after being absent for previous round, our first broadcasted round of the championship. A name that I have seen many times, used to race in the Precision Racing League, their sports car series. And last time I saw him was in an LMP3 car. Let's see how he does in that Barbie liveried Porsche that we spied in the pits a few moments ago. Late improvement in the session from David Gallant, who was really strutting his stuff last round in the Ford Mustang. 157.5. Now, his fastest time, but Artis Veldre is once again head and shoulders above the rest on pace. 156.3 in his Lamborghini. This being a single race server, you're allowed to finish a lap after the timer hits 0, and it looks like this is his final attempt.
Well, I got to admit, Reese, I did actually double check. Joshua Wilford has been in for a couple of rounds. He is indeed meant to be in the bronze class, so I don't know how he's managed to sneak in there, but right now he is P2 in bronze overall.
Well, fair enough. Well done there to our man in the BMW, Artis Veldre, practicing the pit lane entry one final time before the race gets started. Very important to practice your pit entry at Nürburgring and also at Okayama. I'm going to be talking in a lot of detail about Okayama's pit entry next week when we go there. Trust me, there's a few nuances to it, but equally as important here at Nürburgring, negotiating the inside of the hairpin, hard braking on your way into the pits. Make sure that you don't go too fast at the line. Quinn Manders through the chicane as there's a big spin there, just as Joshua Wilford improves to second overall. What a time there from the number 82. The only other driver other than Artis Veldre to get into the 1 minute 56s. That's huge.
Yeah, I got to admit, with an I rating of about 5,000, he's definitely the highest seeded in the server. I have the feeling he's definitely managed to sneak under the radar with that bronze classification, but I did definitely check the points, and yeah, he's listed in there, ladies and gentlemen, so it's fair to say we're going to keep him there, following instructions there from the admin, but I'll have a feeling next season he may indeed find himself getting bumped up just a little bit higher.
Just a little bit higher or all the way up to gold? We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, qualifying it looks like is looks like qualifying is run and done, and well, it's a good run from Artis Veldre once again. He is looking like the favorite to win this round, unless Joshua Wilford can pull something out a little bit more on race pace. For the moment, though, we have a grid of 21 cars ready to start here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Plenty of drivers to keep track of, and plenty of potential battles that are going to arise over the course of this race. Well, looks like we're transitioning to warm up now, Zippy. Probably time to get those points up on the board, and we'll see where the drivers sit coming into this round. Artis Veldre way out front in the championship on 123 points in gold, with Colin Hopkins on 96 points. Doug Sorrentino rounding out your top 3. It's looking like Doug may have an opportunity to close that points gap for second, with Maury and Vestrala rounding out the top 5 in gold. How's silver looking?
As you can see here from the silver, I gotta be honest, I can't read it, Reese, when I got my glasses on.
All right, 3 points in it between Quinn Manders and Darwin Hansen. And for the moment, I do see that Manders is in here, but it doesn't look like we have Hansen in there, unless oh yes, Darwin Hansen is there, qualifying in the number 28. So there's going to be a big battle between them, Brent Souza and Tyler Gramling rounding out your top 5 there. Only 3 points in it for the top 5, though. Richard Thurston is catching up to Matt Jones there. Let's see if there's any other points that we'll be able to find lower down in those silver standings. In bronze, meanwhile, CJ Conklin, who is the league organizer, on top. Only 2 points ahead of Jack Minter. Richard Pettit and Maynard Fetters in your top 4. Sean Phillips in 5th. And it's a bit of a distance there to Wade Kloblin and Drew Martin, who are on 21 points apiece. No one else in the bronze class thus far has managed to grab points in the championship. So we'll see if CJ and Jack will be able to work that out between them. Looks like once again the both of them are here today, Zippy. So we will be having a solid fight for quite a few top positions in our relative championships.
Absolutely, Reece. Certainly a good lot of fun here. And again, a huge thanks to Rob Campbell. We're actually going to call him out again, ladies and gentlemen, on the off chance that it didn't get called. Artis Veldry, the leader of the championship in that sole Lamborghini as well. Huge happy birthday to you, sir. And again, Daniel Clausen for shouting out that it's his birthday. Thank you very much. Definitely, we want to celebrate that. And I have a feeling, being top of the podium, he may indeed be able to do something with that, Reece. But definitely a fun track. Let's see if we can get an onboard lap with one of these guys as well.
Yes, absolutely. I love calling an onboard lap. It's one of my favorite things to do. We're finding our way to the end of the lap here on what looks like the Corvette here. No, we have a McLaren starting a lap. Hello. And we're going to bring it across the line here down the start-finish straight. Bit of a weave to warm up the tyres as cars exit the pits. Got to try and pick your braking point into the first turn, and that looked like it was almost too late, slightly wide of the apex there, but you got to bring it round for the second corner off camber, and you can't see the exit line. Get on the throttle earlier than you think, then on the brakes later than you think. Carry the speed through this next left and line up a wide entry to the right-hander, which brings you out onto this small back straight, and then we dive down into the S's, keeping it sort of third, fourth gear in this sort of section here, down to second in the McLaren for Cody Haygood, who is the driver at the wheel here. Then a straight that isn't a straight. More tyre warm-ups. Looks like he's lifting off to let Artis Veldry go. So we'll follow our overall pole setter through the next half of the lap. Wide here at the hairpin. It's a corner where there's multiple lines possible. Then you come to the Schumacher S, which is just on the verge of flat out low fuel and hot tyres in a GT3 car, but a slight lift here in the warm-up session. Jump onto the brakes under the bridge and go through this final sort of S-bend complex here, which is really important to get the exit right. Nail the apex, get on the power as soon as you can all the way across the curb, because this is one of the highest speed parts of this circuit, flat out through the right-hand kink, and then you're gearing up for the braking for the chicane here. Usually GT3 events use the BS and WEC chicane, the faster one, but this is the Grand Prix chicane, slow and tight with very harsh curbs at the apex. Has got to be careful not to spin there. Climb over the curb to widen the entry to the final corner. Careful of the pit lane attenuator there on the right-hand side. And then out across the curb. That is a lap around the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. It is varied, it is fast, it's a smooth circuit, and it's one of my favorite laps.
Absolutely fantastic stuff there from Cody Haggard, as that indeed does bring the practice session over to about an end, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it does indeed. 5 seconds remain on the timer, and we can get ourselves in to the 40-minute timed race yet to come. This is going to be a challenging one for every single driver. Nürburgring, very easy to get off-track 1Xs at, so we'll probably have to keep an eye on the incident count. There is no disqualifying limit, but you get more than 17, you will get a drive-through penalty, then every 6 incidents thereafter. So make sure to keep it on that grey, slightly reflective stuff that you see on screen at the moment. So on overall pole position is Artis Veldry. He is going to start with a 156.3 in qualifying, far away the fastest. The South African Joshua Wilford joins him on the front row. Pole in silver is Jacob Freeman, and pole in bronze is David Gallant, with Darwin Hansen and Morgan Smith rounding out your top 6. First of our WBM drivers there on the third row. Brent Souza and Quinn Manders are 7th and 8th, and then Pierce Fox and Doug Sorrentino in the gold cars will round out your top 10, Zippy.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Cody Haggard, is going to take 11th with Fozzie Fazillo there in 12th. There we go. In 13th, we're going to have the one and only Mr. Nico Colby with Jack Minter in 14th. CJ Conklin will take 15th with Drew Martin in 16th. Tyler Gramling in 17th, and then Sean Phillips in 18th with Richard Petit in 19th. And in actually, that's just moved. Maynard Fetters there in 19th with Richard Petit now in 20th, and Clayton McGuire in 21st.
Interesting how it's moved there because, yeah, Richard Pettit is still showing up in 19th for me here in the sim. So there might be a slight glitch there, but that's all right. That's all good. When you're that far down the field, one position doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but there is a lot of potential to move up, especially with the chaos that Turn 1 can provide here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Hopefully there is a solid finish on the horizon for every driver in this field, and hopefully we have a good battle for the lead here with Joshua Wilford really bringing the fight to Artis Veldre. But the blue and fluorescent yellow Lamborghini will lead us away here at the call of the green flag. Veldre puts the power down and the V10 sings as we have green flag for the Nürburgring Grand Prix, and Veldre gets a solid start. We see that Wilford's already trying to maximize his lines into the hairpin. The Mustangs for third, battling hard. David Gallant getting up the inside of Jacob Freeman, but the outside exit works there. There's a crash in the midfield. We got the Porsche spun around of Doug Sorrentino, and he's going to fall all the way to the back. Also seeing Quinn Manders fall down the order as well. There's been a problem for him too. Seems like if you're driving a Porsche, lap 1 is a bad time for it.
Yeah, definitely was not the start that they were looking for, but you can see here Artis Veldre very much under pressure there from Joshua Wilford. The battle continues, but we've got to say, it looks like David Gallant has got a new person to play with, as Morgan Smith is out there with pressure behind from actually one of the biggest fans from the last broadcast, Mr. Darwin Hansen.
Yes, Hansen in the Mercedes here. Got a front row seat to Morgan Smith making the move on David Gallant into the southern hairpin. And this is working out very nicely for Darwin. He's made up quite a bit of time there. He has got a lot of pressure, though, from Brent Souza in the BMW behind. Starting to leave Pierce Fox and Cody Haygood behind, too. David Gallant now is jetting up to the back of Morgan Smith. The Mustang is working itself out very nicely up the hill there, but he's going to have to wait for another opportunity.
Yeah, go on, mate. I'm always loving the paint set on the WBM cars. Actually, the closest battle we've got going on, but I say that, let's take a little bit further back here with Drew Martin for Pit Lane Garden.
Drew Martin here, looking for a bit more. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, that's a big incident. Careful, everybody. Avoid that. Martin gets going again, but it looks like that was Quinton Manders who unfortunately got most involved in that one. Richard Pettit in the Corvette triggering that incident with the BMW. So he turns in and he's already very wide there. So it looks like there was a potential opportunity there. But, oh, wow, that is just full-on understeer. I'm not sure what happened there. And poor Quinn Manders, he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that guy's definitely had to eat it a couple of times. Well, I say had to eat it. He's definitely ended up eating it whether he liked it or not. He got the full meal deal. Compliments of the house on that one. But that is definitely some good news there. A little bit further up, I say, for Doug Sorrentino. He's managed to make his way back up about 5 positions from the start.
Yep, that is 16th overall that he's looking at there. Jack Minter, meanwhile, he's making moves again there and moving ahead of Tyler Gramling. So we'll see a few more points on offer there for 4th place in our bronze class. Fozzie Fazillo, meanwhile, making his way up to 9th overall ahead of Nico Colby. And well, looks like Colby is trying to make his way back past here, up 3 positions, these two. Same for Jack Minter and Maynard Fetters. So some big position gains being made. The hard charger at the moment is Tyler Gramling, who is up 5 positions into P12.
Actually, if memory serves me right, it was David Gallant and Nico Colby, my apologies there, who's actually basically starred in most of our debut broadcasts here for the Podium Open Championship. And it looks like Colby, again, looking to try and have some fun. Both himself, Fazillo, and Jack Minter behind. All of these guys up 3 positions. But we do know Fazillo is a defensive weapon. We'll have to see how he gets along. But what I am finding refreshing is that Artis Veldre, despite the fact it's his birthday, Joshua Wilford is absolutely giving him a run for his money. The BMW versus the Lamborghini. Both of these guys going into a good battle. As I hear an O, is it to do with a crash that's happened further back in the field?
It has indeed. Jacob Freeman spun out of the chicane and then got absolutely smashed by Morgan Smith. So that's another view of Richard Pettit having a problem, but it is the Mustang of Jacob Freeman. Have a look at this. He comes into the chicane, and I think, yeah, he just gets loose over the curb, and the traction control kicks in, and then Morgan Smith comes sliding in. That destroys Freeman's engine. Smith continues, but I don't know if he's going to for more than a lap or so. He gained a lot of damage from that one. But Jacob Freeman out in spectacular fashion. Fortunately, fast repair available. He's already back out on track.
Yeah, definitely good that he's been able to recover. Having a look at the front of Morgan Smith's car, it definitely is cosmetically challenged as we got more action happening further back, ladies and gentlemen. TJ Conklin getting into a little bit of a battle, it seems.
CJ in what looks to be one of, if not the only, Acura in this field, as Nico Colby has had a problem next. Big spin there. Coming into the, oh wow, look at all the gravel he's put onto the track there, and also having trouble getting going too. My God, Doug Sorrentino had to jump right on the brakes. Colby, I noticed at Silverstone, he was very brave on the brakes, and he liked to drive the car hard. I think the track might be a bit too cold for that style of driving just yet. We are only 5 minutes into this race, and well, a track temperature of only 19 degrees Celsius. These cars do have tire warmers, but you do want to take it easy in the opening laps, as that's Drew Martin making his way up on Maynard Fetters, and that is a change for 15th overall and 8th in bronze.
That was a fantastic pass. I got to take it off to Drew Martin. That was an absolute beauty. You know what? That was so good. I think I'm going to watch it again.
All right. Let's go. He sold the fake. Look at that. That was great. Maynard Fetters went defensive but switched to the racing line, and then Drew Martin was like, all right, you want to play that game? I'll go for the inside at the braking zone. That was very well executed indeed, and it looks like Drew actually has a little more pace than Maynard at the moment. So I don't know if we're going to be seeing that battle re-emerge. We'll see what Quinn Manders can do next. Another driver on a recovery, outbrakes at the hairpin, and Clayton Maguire is put back here to 18th place. Clayton Maguire, another one of the McLarens in this field. Jacob Freeman, the next to join the scene. This is all battling right up the back of the field, which is amazing, frankly. Pretty much anywhere you can go in this field, there's a battle happening.
Yeah, I got a feeling this is to make life a little bit more straightforward. There you go, Reese. We got the overall results now being displayed, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, let's take a quick look a bit further up here, because, oh my gosh, there goes Morgan Smith. I think he's just gotten it. Yeah. He went off track, I can tell you that much. Let's find out exactly what happened there.
Yeah, he was already... the engine blew. Engine blew on the downshift at the southern hairpin. And, or was that at the southern hairpin? No, I think that was coming onto the back straight. That's unfortunate for Morgan Smith. The cumulative damage being gained from his contact with the Mustang a little earlier. And finally went pop. This is the battle for 8th then. Jack Minter, Tyler Gramling, and CJ Conklin all in a three-way fight. Let's see who is best on the brakes at the chicane. Gramling making up a lot of ground on Minter there, but doesn't look like it's going to be enough to gain the exit he needs. Really, if you're trying to pass at the end of the lap, you need to focus on the exit of this final corner, run all the way across the curb and maximize the exit. The Porsche 911 is not the fastest in a straight line in the GT3 class, so Gramling should have the advantage here, but a good exit from the final corner for Jack Minter keeps him ahead.
Yeah, and you can see there lurking in the background, CJ Conklin, he's very aware of what is going on. He's going to hope that these two guys keep on fighting. Certainly that Acura, he is indeed the only one in the field. When it first came out, it was a little bit the OP car, but certainly it's been humbled a little bit there as these two guys now going side by side, Porsche versus BMW, as they go through the chicane.
Great battle between Minter and Gramling. It seems like Gramling was all over Minter in the arena section. This has brought Conklin right back into it too. Up 6, 8, and 5 positions respectively, these three cars you see running. And, well, Gramling lunging forward there in the braking zone. He's got to concentrate on the throttle pickup there in his front-engine rear-wheel drive BMW, take as much advantage as he can, but CJ Conklin is piling the pressure on him as well. Let's see if there's any change here up the back half of the circuit. Schumacher S, not really a passing zone. You got to run single file through here. Side by side will lose you so much time. Looks like they're going to stay in order on the way into this braking zone as well. Now's the part where Tyler Gramling's going to try and set something up on Jack Minter. Oh, he's going to try it here. Up the inside? Nope. Very nice. Minter saw him coming and went wide, was able to pick up the throttle earlier, and now Conklin sees the move.
Yeah, it was definitely it was a look to try and move forward, and it may cost him moving a position back there, but Conklin not quite able to capitalize on the opportunity. Don't get me wrong, definitely applying some pressure. Gramling is stuck in the middle of this sandwich between Minter and Conklin. It's fair to say the whole time this is going on, Doug Sorrentino is looking to try and capitalize as well, currently down to just one position down from where he started.
Yeah, Sorrentino's having a good run at the moment. He's had quite a few drivers ahead of him, unfortunately, fall by the wayside. And the pace that he is able to set at the moment behind these three is incredible. He set a 158.2 on the previous lap. These guys, they haven't been able to get under a 2-minute .7. So Sorrentino is catching them hard.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. There you go. You can see there just a difference in pace. Looks like a 1.5, 1.8 seconds there in difference race. Absolutely astonishing pace there from Sorrentino.
Hopefully he'll be able to take advantage of it, and he certainly will, as there's a move. Oh, CJ Conklin almost getting into the back of Tyler Gramling there. The BMW early on the brakes coming into the sweeper down the hill, which is one of my favorite corners on this track. That whole back section is one of my favorite sequences in all of sim racing, but unfortunately it's not worked out for Conklin there. He's going to have to wait another lap or two for the fight to re-emerge. Moving up the field, meanwhile, Cody Haygood, Drew Martin. Actually, no, this is moving down the field. Haygood, Martin, and Freeman fighting for 13th place, and I'm seeing Quinn Manders start to show up as within a second of this, as there's a spin for the BMW of Drew Martin, and around he goes into the wall. And the move is made for Maynard Fetters as well, who gains another position. Parts flying from the rear bumper of Drew Martin's BMW. And it looks like that was just a bit of contact on the exit. Not ideal. And, well, Jacob Freeman will certainly have something to think about there. Martin manages to get going. Richard Pettit finally gains another position. Now he's up 2 from where he started, has already suffered a spin in this race so far. Let's see if some consistency can be brought from the drivers at the back of the field, as Tyler Gramling will have CJ Conklin alongside him in the braking zone for turn 1, and you just saw there, Doug Sorrentino is right there. And oh, that was almost 2 for 1 there from CJ Conklin. Jack Minter's going to have to look out as well.
Yeah, certainly he's definitely, he's primed. He's racing from Antarctica. I gotta be honest, I'm gonna, whoa, what a dive there, up on the inside. That's exactly why you have the Porsche. It's fair to say it didn't pay off, but I gotta say, Barbie was very much in amongst the pigeons on that one.
He certainly was. Doug Sorrentino super confident on the brakes there, and you got to remember he should be at least like 5 or 6 positions ahead of these guys on pace alone. He gears up the exit on Tyler Gramling and gets it past on the exit. Nicely done. Positioned his car perfectly. Let's see if Doug Sorrentino can move further into the top 10 here. Minter, Conklin, and Gramling, they're all up 6 places each from drivers like Freeman and Smith and Martin, etc., having their issues over the course of this race so far. So in terms of pace, they might be a little out of position. Doug Sorrentino has to remember that.
Yeah, certainly, and you can be as fast as you like.
Spun! Artis Veldra just spun at the final corner. A rare mistake from the number 17, and Joshua Wilford goes through to the race lead.
Well, that's definitely not how he would want to celebrate his birthday. As you can see there, he was there, definitely pushing quite hard. It looks like Wilford had got the better of him, and it's fair to say he just got a little bit loose. Lambo doing Lambo things.
Yeah, that was a very strange incident. It's like the rear just turned off in the middle of the corner there. It is one of those turns where you do need a stable rear just to keep yourself in check. So, unfortunately for Artis Veldra, he has got now a 4-second gap to make up for the lead of the race. And Tyler Grambling, boy, almost getting into the back of CJ Conklin there. Oh, Grambling, maybe having some trouble picking his braking points there. Conklin's going to have to be checking his mirrors from that one. And, well, the four-way battle continuing. It's splitting into two battles of two, really. Doug Sorrentino has found his way past CJ and is now on the back of Jack Minter. Porsche versus Porsche as Grambling spins out of the arena section. An unfortunate mistake there. That's going to cost him some time in the short term. Don't forget, we do have a pit stop coming up, so there's more potential to make up time there. Sorrentino finds the exit on Jack Minter and will try the outside line into the southern hairpin. It looks like Minter let him have it.
Yeah, certainly I have a feeling that the weather is definitely causing a little bit of havoc here. The track not as warm as some of these drivers would expect, but now Minter is going to be under attack from the only Acura in the field of CJ Conklin.
Certainly is. All right. Sorrentino's going to streak away and then hard on the brakes again, try and keep up the mid-corner speed here. It's all about setting up your exit onto the back straight, and I say that in quotation marks because it is straight for a bit here, and then there's that kink to the right, but you are easy flat out through this turn in a GT3 car. For the moment, the brakes seem to be CJ Conklin's strength there. He is a lot harder on them into the chicane, but every time they come to a corner exit, it seems like Jack Minter gets a little bit of time back.
Yeah, certainly that's the two different cars having two different attributes, really. Certainly the Acura is not one that I've really driven too much, but certainly the Porsche we do know is one for the late brakes. It looks like Dirk Sorrentino there, giving a little bit of a flash there. I'm trying to decide if he's just posing or, you know, if he's got something else tied up to his keybind there, but certainly giving us a little bit of the, to quote Rugby Campbell, the razzle-dazzle, as we see David Gallant, I've no short of better words, just getting turned around there by what I believe was Pierce Fox.
Brent Souza was the BMW that made contact with him there, and Gallant has spun again, trying to recover. Souza, he tried to stick it up the inside, but I don't think he was far enough alongside to really make the move. Unfortunately, when you're going into a slow corner like that, you know, it's that you often hear it talked about online and in other communities as well, the vortex of danger, I think, might have had Brent Souza fall into that, going for the inside, but David Gallant had already picked his turning point, and he was going in. Unfortunately, he has escaped back to the pits from that one. Hopefully we see Gallant back out on track before the night is done.
Speaking of people back out on track, I'm very happy to say Morgan Smith has indeed returned. Don't get me wrong, he had to tow to the pits after, I've got to say, it was a monumental engine explosion, ladies and gentlemen. At least he did it in a fun way. Good to see him back. But right now, if we take a quick look at his teammate, Fozzie Basillo, actually having a really good race right now. He's currently in P3 for silver.
Working out nicely. He's on his own on track at the moment. Has about 7 seconds or so to make up to Pierce Fox and Brent Souza, but we'll find Fazillo towards the final corner, and he's going to have to look in his mirrors as well, because here comes Doug Sorrentino once more. Doug gained 2 seconds on Fazillo on the previous lap. One thing that I have learned a lot about Sorrentino in the time that I've been watching him is he often isn't the greatest qualifier, but when it comes to the race, he is one to watch out for.
Well, as we say that, we've got one of our first people making a scheduled pit stop, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Mr. CJ Conklin. Not only is he an enthusiastic sim racer, he's also a talented musician as well. We're going to have to try and get him to show us some of the music there that he's been getting up to, but makes the first scheduled pit stop of the evening.
He does indeed, and that's a nice simple stop there for fuel only. 9.5 seconds stopped in the box. That's about 4/10 slower than what Jacob Freeman was able to manage 7 laps ago. But Freeman, I think, came in for damage service as well. Richard Pettit, the next driver to find his way in the Corvette. An early pit stop in this race, probably ideal if you've had issues early on.
Yeah, I was checking to see if he had a bit of damage there, but it did appear to be clean. But right now, this is going to be the closest battle on track. And I got to say, I am feeling for Podium on this one. Doug Sorrentino is, well, he's a potent individual. He's rocking almost 4,000 iRating, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the fact he appears to be racing from Antarctica, it's fair to say that connection's definitely not slowing him up. Incredible pace there. And I do definitely relate to qualifying not being ideal and being more about the race itself. Certainly racecraft is where I tend to do a lot better than outright pace. But right now, he's going up against Fazillo for P6 overall.
Certainly is, and that's a great exit from Sorrentino. He's going to pick up a little bit of slipstream here. Going to be moving around in the mirrors to try and unsettle Fazillo over the curbs. The Porsche is supreme. It's one of the best cars through the turns in the GT3 class with the current balance of performance, which is likely to change a little once week 13 comes around and we finally get the Aston Martin Vantage added to the GT3 class. Really looking forward to that one. Doug Sorrentino, though, has that far from his mind as he focuses on his braking for turn 1. He's the only driver I've noticed who actually uses that bit of AstroTurf on the entry to turn 1. It's worked out for him. Nice wide entry. Big apex speed, and he's going to try and set up a move here at the arena section. Gets alongside Fazillo, and the space is given. And Doug Sorrentino is through to 6th. He is now up 4 places from where he started. And all things considered, I got to wonder, if he hadn't had his lap 1 issues, where would he be? He'd probably be looking for a podium at this point.
I got no doubt about that. Now, the question is, can Fazillo stay with him? Can he maybe get a little bit of a draft there from the back of Sorrentino? I got to be honest, as much as we do love Fozzy, I have a feeling Sorrentino is a bit too much for him, not only just for him, for quite a few drivers, ladies and gentlemen. As next on the chopping block will indeed be Pierce Fox in that Mustang. You see Brent Souza just a little bit ahead, but right now the closest battle on screen is going to be between Tyler Gramling and Jacob Freeman, the Australian driver, Reese.
Yes, Jacob Freeman for FRM Motorsport gets up the inside of Tyler Gramling and makes it 6 places down from where he started. Freeman is another one of those drivers that's had issues in the first half of this race and is trying to mount a recovery. Works out okay for him in the meantime, though. He's got some time to make up to Jack Minter, but having a look at the times he's been able to set, Freeman is the only driver other than our top 2 I've seen that's been able to set a lap in the 1 minute 56 second bracket, so he's got pace.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be a potent individual here, as that was incredibly quick. But it's Fozzy. Fozzy is absolutely still staying there with Sorrentino. Atta boy.
Maybe with a car to follow around the circuit, Fazillo is finding more time. I often find that to be the case, you know, especially in a practice session. You get behind one of the fast guys and you follow them around and you end up picking up a few different things. That's very late on the brakes. Looks like Fazillo was taking the conventional line into the hairpin there. Sorrentino, as I mentioned last lap, not afraid to get over the curb on entry there. He is driving that Porsche to the max.
Yeah, certainly myself. There's a particular corner I think of at Spa, actually. You see a lot of drivers will indeed brake with half the car on the curbing. And myself, never been a big fan. It just creates a bit of an imbalance there in the car. Don't get me wrong, I think you can do it with the right braking, but fair to say it takes a little bit more skill than I have on offer. But certainly some interesting techniques going on as we have another pit stop, ladies and gentlemen, of Cody Haggard.
Yeah, gets the crumpled front end of his McLaren repaired. The number 16 will complete the stop and potentially might fall behind Quinn Manders here. Yep, he will indeed. Manders already took his pit stop. That was a lap ago. And Haygood with 12.6 seconds on the car. That is the slowest pit stop we've seen so far. And it looks like he might be having some trouble getting the pit limiter off. That was a little bit late there. But he gets up to speed nonetheless and will try and get settled into a rhythm once more. Clayton Maguire, meanwhile, versus Richard Pettit coming into the first corner, and they were both trying to search for the inside there. Maguire almost coming to a complete stop.
Yeah, definitely saw a bit of a slide there further up through the field, but definitely some good stuff here. As Maynard Fetters is indeed in the pits, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like David Gallant has indeed retired, but further back in the field, it looks like Morgan Smith has he's got somebody near him as well, albeit I think that may be on a different lap.
Yes, Morgan Smith is a lap down or so, I believe, thanks to
Oh, yeah.
his problems. So, yeah, that's actually our race leader, Joshua Wilford, up ahead of him. The South African has had a very nice run after passing Artis Veldra. You could almost just see Veldra in the background of some of these shots, keeping the gap at about 4 seconds or so. And for the moment, it seems that under race conditions, Wilford has been able to match Veldra's pace pretty substantially. So Artis, having that spin, it's really put him on the back foot here. I wonder what he can do to take the win from here.
Yeah, certainly he's going to definitely need to apply a bit of pressure, but right now he's just a little bit too far back as Sean Phillips brings it down pit road.
Only Ferrari in the field as well, if not one of two, depending on how I've been looking. Phillips getting the 296 in there, and once again, it's a long pit stop. This is an especially long one, 17, 18 seconds. He is taking tires, which isn't the ideal way to go about it in a race of 40 minutes. I mean, you are going to have tires that are in their prime once again, but you're gonna have to deal with the warm-up, and it's I think it just gets a little bit worse in terms of time spent than it would if you'd just continued on the same set of tires. These GT3 tires are pretty much bulletproof in a race like this, especially when the track is so cold.
Yeah, definitely might have been a little bit of forgetting to turn off the tires on the way in there, Reese.
Yes, it does happen. Does happen indeed. Jack Minter, meanwhile, got Jacob Freeman coming up the inside at the chicane. The Mustang hard on the anchors and manages to get it pulled up nicely. Well done there. That's another position up for Jacob Freeman. And got to remember that Freeman started in 3rd overall, so he's another driver along with Sorrentino who we would expect to be fighting for a podium here, but early issues have put them by the wayside.
Yeah, definitely been some very, very interesting incidents so far this race. That first couple laps was indeed a little bit of a potent mess for incidents. And don't get me wrong, it definitely does happen. But right now, Jacob Freeman trying to pull away there from Jack Minter. Currently, Freeman down 5 positions from the start. Definitely not the race he was looking for. He would actually be in P3 right now if it wasn't for some earlier incidents.
All right, well, Freeman took a pit stop 11 laps ago, and it looked to be around the amount of time that it would take to put enough fuel in to get to the end. Hopefully he's able to do that. Otherwise, he could be on course for stopping twice in this race if he doesn't have the fuel he needs. That's a bit up in the air at the moment for us, but we'll keep our eyes peeled on what Jacob Freeman does. Meanwhile, last position on the podium is under attack here. Darwin Hansen holding on to it, but Brent Souza is catching up, and Souza's pace has looked, well, it's looked reasonably good versus Hansen. He hasn't been faster than him at any point, but he is catching up for sure, and we might see a pass here for the BMW.
Yeah, maybe one of the slower burns. I have a feeling these two guys are indeed on a team, just going off the paint as well, and have made me serves me right. But certainly, I don't know how hard they're going to want to fight. We'll have to see, because don't get me wrong, you can pass in the pits is another way of playing a game. It's Pierce Fox, as mentioned, makes his way down pit road.
Okay, so top running Mustang in the field finds his way in. Keep an eye on Hansen and Souza for the top 3. And Hansen seems pretty smooth in this opening section of the lap. Souza, as we've seen before, is aggressive on the brakes into that left-hander, and see how much wider he's taking the entry for the right. That is going to result in a fantastic bit of momentum down this short straight. Not quite enough for him to get alongside. Slightly defensive from Darwin Hansen.
Yeah, you can see these guys are definitely out having a little bit of fun, definitely having a little bit of banter on the track right now. As you see there, Darwin Hansen positioning that car very strategically there to block any passing attempts. But you got to wonder as well, you know, if they have a look ahead, Artis Veldra, he's about 22 seconds ahead. So realistically, Darwin wants to try and hold on to this position as hard as he possibly can if he wants to stay there on the podium.
Yeah, we'll probably see some more defensive lines being used from the Mercedes. 11 minutes to go, and we're still waiting on pit stops for 8 cars in this field. We had Clayton Maguire yet to take a pit stop way down the order. Jack Minter yet to come in, and then the entirety of our current top 6. So let's see when they decide to come in. My timing is showing me only 6 laps to go for our leaders, and Artis Veldra has taken a bit more time out of Joshua Wilford, running half a tenth faster than him on the previous lap. But at the moment, there goes the pit lane entry for Darwin Hansen, first of our top 3 to come into the lane. Got to wonder when Wilford, Veldra and Souza will respond to that one.
Yeah, definitely some interesting stuff going on. But it looks like Morgan Smith has managed to catch up now. This to the back of the only Ferrari in the grid of Sean Phillips. You see these guys are now going head-to-head. And right behind him, actually, is Artis Veldra. You can see there well, oh my gosh, Morgan Smith makes his way go past. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm running on about half a cylinder today.
Absolutely. Zippy is feeling a bit ill today, so send him your well wishes. Sean Phillips then passed by Morgan Smith, and he's going to let Artis Veldra go, and well, he'll continue running in second place with our number 17. The 325 of Jack Minter, meanwhile, comes into the pits, and he is in the middle of a bunch of drivers who have had sort of 9-second pit stops or so. This is looking a little bit longer for Minter. Is he lifted off the ground? Is he taking tires?
I believe so. Yep. Definitely another driver who's got caught with taking tyres. Ladies and gentlemen, in a 40-minute race, it's definitely a little bit keen there. Some potential positions thrown away. It's fair play. Jack Minter has been an absolutely fantastic battler today, but I think that pit strategy may have indeed cost him at the end of this race.
It has cost him at least one position. CJ Conklin now about 11 seconds ahead of him. So that would have been the time that Minter would have needed to stay with him. Here comes Joshua Wilford, our race leader, followed in by Artis Veldra. I would expect Souza, Sorrentino and Fazillo to come in as well here. Only going to have 5 laps to go with 8.5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, you can see there with Rob Campbell saying Ferrari pit strategy. My comeback being don't need strategy if you don't finish the race.
Fair enough. Pit stop complete for Joshua Wilford, and Artis Veldra gains a little bit on the run through the pits. He was about a second faster than Wilford in the box, and 1.3 seconds faster through the lane. So that hasn't quite brought the gap down, though. It remains at about 4 seconds as Sorrentino, Souza and Fazillo finally come in to cleanse our top positions of the need for a pit stop. Who gets the fastest out of these guys? That is a very quick stop from Sorrentino. 7.9 seconds. That's the fastest we've seen so far.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Sorrentino is definitely a potent force to be reckoned with, ladies and gentlemen, as we see a couple of these drivers now just making their way out. I believe everybody has now, in fact, pit, ladies and gentlemen. Brent Souza being the last one to leave pit road.
So Souza, once there's another driver who it seems accidentally took tyres there. He was in there for 32 seconds in the pit lane. Maybe had some other service to do as well. That has put him all the way down to 8th as things work out. So that means now that the pit cycle's been officially completed for just about everyone, save for, I think, Clayton Maguire, we have Freeman on the podium ahead of Darwin Hansen, and Freeman is now in the lead for the silver class. Fozzie Fazillo still our lead bronze driver meanwhile. So that works things out nicely for everyone with under 7 minutes remaining. The question remains, can Artis Veldra do anything to catch up to Joshua Wilford? Those two have been very close on pace in the race, and Veldra taking maybe a bit too much curb at the chicane there. I don't know. Maybe the win is out of his grasp at this point. It's going to take a mistake from Wilford to bring the gap down here.
Well, other thing we can try and factor in, Reese, is a bit of lap traffic here. So we're going to go back to Quinn Mendes, who's now appears to get a battle going on with Jack Minter. It is Porsche versus Porsche. The razzle-dazzle's going on. And don't get me wrong, there is no blue flags being waved. So Quinn Mendes there, maybe trying to offer a little bit of a distraction there for the 325.
Potentially. It's a commonly used psychological tactic in racing, a little flash of the headlights just to say, hey, I'm still here. You better make way for me at some point. But for the moment, Jack Minter is happy to continue running his lines here. Quinn Mendes is going to have to find his way around the hard way.
Yeah, certainly Quinn Mendes, got to say, beautiful paint as well. Not that we're biased, ladies and gentlemen. You see Podium 1 being one of these sponsors here, as indeed the Rapper Racing Club and Grid Finder, ladies and gentlemen, as Mendes applying all kinds of pressure to the back of that Porsche. Certainly, definitely getting right up behind, and I believe that the paint on the 325 being modelled on the PAF Porsche, which actually runs in real life. As they tried to go side by side through the chicane, it was a courageous move, but not one that worked out in the favour of the 325.
Yeah, Quinn Mendes is past now, and yeah, Jack Minter is indeed running the FAF 911, which is actually one of the default liveries you can select for this car in iRacing. It's always good to see the tartan out there, but that's position changed for their respective positions. Mendes now up to 11th, and he is looking very quick indeed. So I don't know if Minter's going to have a chance to fight back here. Only real battle on track. The other one is between Clayton Maguire and Maynard Fetters, and oh dear, there's been a spin for Sean Phillips, and oh, it's taken Artis Veldra. Oh my God, huge incident in the final couple of corners. This is a similar thing to what happened between Morgan Smith and the Mustang earlier. Sean Phillips, once again, loses traction out of the corner, and then he tries to flick spin it around, but Artis Veldra arrives on the scene just as he's trying to do this, gets back onto the circuit. He waited, and then he tried to get going, but it was, he was still cranking the wheel over to the left. Artis Veldra could do nothing to avoid that, I think.
I definitely think that was a coaching moment there, Reese, for unsafe rejoin practice, as Artis Veldra is now nursing a meatball flag. That's going to be the end of his race.
Oh, no. Well, happy birthday, Artis. That is a terrible way for things to end there for our championship leader. You can see that the right front is disconnected at the moment. There is no steering going on for that side of the car. All he can do is try and limp it back to the pits and maybe get his fast repair and try and salvage a top 5 out of this. But look at that. Every time he comes to a left-hander, it's just not turning in. He's done. Artis Veldra is out. Well, at least he has an opportunity to still celebrate his birthday after this, and well, we shall see him back and firing on all cylinders again next round at Okayama, the last round of the season. That just leaves Joshua Wilford out in front by 22 seconds.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of an agreement with us on the chat for that rejoin there. Definitely a coaching moment for sure, I think is the best way of phrasing it. Certainly Artis has got every reason to be irritated by that. That was a race-ending moment, and certainly I have confidence in the league that they will indeed have a little bit of tuition there. Certainly that's not what anybody really wants to happen. Artis, definitely unlucky. If you're there and you're watching the broadcast, by all means, come on in for a little bit. We'll just try and catch you in the closing stages of this race. We'll wish you a happy birthday and indeed give you our condolences for the end of your race there. But right now, let's head over to the battle for P8, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, battle for P7 between Brent Souza and Tyler Gramling.
Yeah, looking good between these two for the moment, and we'll have a look at any potential gains that can be made here. Tyler is looking fast, 159.4 on the previous lap. Compare that to a 201 for Brent Souza, who is, for the moment, the only car remaining in the field to still be in the position he started in. Worked out in 7th after his pit stop, which is where he began the race. May well be an 8th place for him, with Tyler Gramling showing some great pace late on in the session. 1 minute 30 remains on the clock, which means that We should have the white flag coming out for our race leader the next time they cross the line. Gramling then, 158.9. Compare that to a 159.6 for Brent Souza. This is going to be a pretty interesting battle of the BMWs here. See how Gramling is just lurching his car from corner to corner. He's desperate to try and grab this 7th place.
Yeah, certainly these two guys are indeed getting into an absolutely fantastic battle. Looks like Jack Minter and Cody Haggard are having one a little bit further back for P11 as well. Definitely a few drivers here who definitely took tyres, which I do definitely think it very much had an impact on their long-term race. But right now, Joshua Wilford getting ready to go and bring us over for the checkered flag.
Indeed. White flag beginning for our race leader here.
Oh, close.
And it's been a 30 seconds still on the clock. This is the start of the last lap. Wilford in the South African emblazoned car here, as looks like Artis Veldra has gotten his repairs done and is going to come back out to take the checkered flag. Will still get a classified finish and points from this, but man, he probably would have been wishing, man, if only we were in these exact same positions, but I had an extra lap on the ticker, and the battle for the lead would have been on for sure. But well, it's all much of a muchness in the end. He just needs to get to the finish.
Yeah, I think he definitely came out there on purpose just to try and have a little bit more of a grudge match there with the race leader, Joshua Wilford. But right now, Maynard Fairs going up against him with Clayton Maguire.
Still fighting at the back of the running order here. Only other car running at the moment is Sean Phillips, who is in 18th at the moment. Jack Minter and Cody Hagood, meanwhile, fighting on the final couple of laps as well. These guys are ahead of our leaders at the moment, so they're still going to have a lap to do once they cross the line. And Hagood is trying to make up as much time as he can in the braking zones. Looks like he had a couple of goes at slowing the car down there. Maybe the breaking point wasn't able to be found there into the chicane, but the battle is going to continue for them as they run out across the curb, and the slipstream is picked up by the McLaren, with Jack Minter now well in Cody Hagood's sights. For now, though, as these guys will continue to fight through the arena section, that's a big move there from Cody Hagood, and he will get the pass conclusively done on Jack Minter. Our leader, Joshua Wilford, well, he rocketed up to 2nd place in qualifying and immediately put his mark on this race. He is going to take the win at the Nuremburg. A fantastic drive indeed. It was mistake-free, it was consistent, it was fast. Brilliant job from Joshua Wilford.
Yeah, he definitely had a very, very good race here. As you can see your P2 overall, Mr. Jacob Freeman making his way around the final corner, ladies and gentlemen. That beautiful double right-hander there, as he's going to go and put a couple of cars back down. And they will actually know the race leader's going to cross. As there you go, your P2 finisher. As we're going to head back to the battles, ladies and gentlemen. As let's go and take a quick peek here with CJ Conklin still looking to try and make up a little bit of ground there on Tyler Gramling.
Yeah, Tyler Gramling getting passed by Brent Souza some time ago, and now trails him by 3 seconds. We'll see if Tyler will be able to find his pace here on the final lap to stay ahead of one of our league organisers here, CJ Conklin, off the throttle onto the brakes, and a smooth run through the final chicane. It looks like Gramling has the space he needs to just cruise to the line from here. Taking 3rd place overall, Darwin Hansen. Very well done indeed. It was another quiet, consistent drive there from Darwin, and that's going to round things off for them. Jack Minter is going to be one of the last cars to take to the finish. I have to say that Morgan Smith has managed to make quite a few gains on the last couple of laps. He's only trailing Jack Minter by 10 seconds, but there won't be any further positions to gain for the WBM number 21. He's just going to cruise here in between the McLarens of, I believe, Clayton Maguire and Maynard Fetters, who were our last 2 finishers of this race. Lap also down, and there we go. That's it. That's everybody to the finish, Zippy. I think it might be time for our race results as we find our way through. Joshua Wilford, 23.5 seconds in it in the end. And Jacob Freeman, got to say, a top-class recovery from a driver who had to take a very early pit stop and damage early on. Darwin Hansen, nice drive to the podium. He'll get second in silver. Doug Sorrentino, another incredible recovery. We saw him at the very back of the field coming out of turn 1 on lap 1. He recovers to 4th overall and second in gold. Pierce Fox rounds out the gold class podium. Fozzie Fazillo, 6th overall and wins bronze with Brent Souza, Tyler Gramling, CJ Conklin, and Quinn Manders rounding out your top 10. Then it's Haygood, Minter, and Smith, who were the last finishers on the lead lap. A lap down for 4 cars, Veldra being one of them. That is a big blow for our championship leader, with Richard Pettit, Clayton Maguire, and Maynard Fetters also joining him crossing the line there. Sean Phillips was able to get to the line as well, 2 laps down, with David Gallant, Drew Martin, and Nico Colby unfortunately retiring from this race. No points for them today, but we will have a bit more racing to do in a week's time at Okayama. For now, though, it's time to have a chat to our drivers. And the first one we'll be speaking to will be, I believe, Joshua Wilford in the number 82 BMW. Fantastic drive, Joshua. It looked like you made that late improvement in qualifying, and that set you up for the victory.
Yeah, the qualifying went well. I kept getting an off track at the same corner. The race started how I thought it would. I was behind Artis, and I made an early mistake in the chicane, and our pace is just so similar. Like, I was really struggling to catch him, and then a spin by him fortunately gave me the lead, and then unfortunately Artis got clipped by a back marker. But if it wasn't for that back marker, I think it would have been down to the last lap.
Yeah, it was very close between you two. Very consistent pace. It was a difficult circuit to begin with, but I think the track temperature really played a part in getting up to speed as well. It was ice cold out there. How were the first few laps?
They were okay. The BMW really handles well. I'm very confident in the BM. Towards the end of the race, though, the grip started to fall away from me, and I started seeing a lot of slide through the mid corner. But it was manageable, and I was able to keep it on the black stuff.
Well, very nicely done indeed, Joshua. The final round of the championship will take place at Okayama next week. Number 1, are you going to be there? Number 2, what are you expecting?
Number 1, yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. And number 2, just to have fun.
Very nice. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Joshua. Is there anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
Definitely the guys at Speed Designs for putting me onto this league, and Artis for the race that we had in the beginning. It's unfortunate what happened to him.
Yeah, certainly. Well, regardless, on top for you, Joshua. Thanks for joining us once again. See you next week.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Joshua Wilford there, race winner and P1 in gold, with looks like our silver winner, Jacob Freeman, the next driver to join us. Welcome, Jacob. A hell of a recovery for you. You ended up spinning near the back in the opening laps, and looks like you set yourself up for success by taking your pit stop early.
I just ran out a bit of talent. I started catching Josh and Artis with a bit of early pace, and I thought, oh, I can try and drive this like a supercar. And yeah, no, it's a lot firmer than that. But yeah, pretty happy with that.
As you should be. It was a solid run for you in the Mustang here, and yeah, Nuremburg evidently smiled on the Mustang in other ways as well. It's I think it's quite an equal track for all of the cars. Do you think the same? Yeah,
I think it's pretty much all that. Like the fact that Artis is up front with a Lambo is kind of proof of that. I think the BMW's got a little bit of legs on me, because there was a few times I'd get a really good exit and I'm like, Josh is pulling away from me. How the hell do I do that? But in the end, he's a bit slower through the corners than me in than the Mustang. So I think, yeah, everything's pretty even. It's pretty good.
Well, Okayama rounds out the season. Another track that I think maybe the Mustang will be good at there. It's a technical track, lots of traction zones to take advantage of.
Yeah, a lot of high-speed corners I'm not very good at. But, we'll see how it goes. With the setup that we've got in it, it's got a pretty balanced amount of wing. You know, the car was getting faster and faster as it went on. Josh is 20 seconds up the road. There's no point in trying to go rip the vinyl off it. But yeah, we'll see how we go. This is one of my better tracks, but Okayama's going to be a bit of an unknown for me.
All right, well, hopefully you end up finding fortune there. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go, Jacob?
Just thanks to all the Podium 1 guys. They're, CJ for putting all this on. He was a bit worried because he put the wrong chicane on it, and he was kicking himself over that, but it's all good. Ended up being great, and thanks to everyone running it, and you guys for all the work.
And thank you for joining us, Jacob Freeman. See you at Okayama.
Cheers.
And finally, for driver interviews, we have the number 61 of Fozzie Fazillo, who on debut has taken the win in bronze. Welcome once again, Fozzie. It was another pretty new field for you. Took a bit to get used to, but you and Morgan Smith were attacking right from the get-go.
Yeah, we kind of jumped in here at the last second, thanks to Zippy and Pit Road for getting us in here to do the race. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Looked like a very fun time indeed. You ended up gaining 6 positions over the course of the race. Evidently, consistency is key, even in only a 40-minute race.
Yeah, I didn't treat it like a sprint race. I just kind of drove my race. I hate that I had contact with Nico Colby. I don't drive that way, but it happens sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. Not without a few mistakes here and there, but by and large, a great race for you. And, you were rated as a bronze driver. If you decide to continue next season, we'll see if you end up getting bumped up a class. But, it was a great result for you, Fozzie. Top 6 for you. Anyone you want to thank for your efforts?
I just want to thank you guys again for getting me in here. Zippy, for everything he does. We love that dude. And my team, WBM.
Excellent stuff. Hopefully see you next week, Fozzie.
Thank you, buddy.
And finally, with driver interviews run and done, we will bring in also a driver, but also the administrator of this league, CJ Conklin, in the Acura. Tell you what, CJ, it was a great improvement on the field size from last round, and it looks like we're going to have a great championship finale at Okayama next week.
Oh man, I can't wait. Yes, I didn't expect the field to be this full, Labor Day here in the U.S., but it's awesome. I had fun, lots of good close racing, lots of diversified racing. So for people watching this, if you're afraid to get in a league, this is a league. You got 5K drivers down to 1,000K drivers. So lots of fun. You can race. What's nice is I'm not as fast as Mr. Wilford who won today. But I was racing Mr. Jack Minter because we're in the points championship, and the whole race I was just waiting. I did an undercut, which was awesome. He got me above him barely, but it was fun. But
yeah, well, it's great race for you as well. Managing to grab a top 10 after gaining 6 positions, a lot of position gains for everyone in this field. But as you said, it was a large field, and all of this wouldn't be able to happen without the help of some great partners at this league as well.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to Podium 1. They're the ones putting this on, and also alongside with Grid Finder, which handles all the points and the tracking of everything, and Rafa Racing. Can't do it without them. What a great race team. I'm looking forward to going out to Indy to visit them during the Indy 6 hour. And if you're ready for next season, you got to sign up. We're going to open signups here in the next couple of weeks. Just keep an eye out online. And we're going to hoping to get a full 60 field grid.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, seeing 60 cars out on track for the next round, well, for the opening round of the season. We do still have one more to complete for this season, CJ. Are you expecting anything from Okayama? What's going to be your approach to the final round?
I'm kind of worried because I've only raced, Miata's there, Clio's. So haven't been on the GT3, so it's going to be interesting. I heard it, weather's kind of weird there, so I'm not sure what to expect.
Yeah, it can certainly be interesting in the sort of rain-heavy Japanese north of the world there. But regardless, CJ, hope to see you there. Hope to chat to you again next week. And thank you very much for joining us. Pleasure to bring this to the masses.
See you next week.
All right, CJ will celebrate another successful round of the Podium 1 Open Championship presented by Rafa Racing Club and Grid Finder. Zippy, end of the broadcast here. Any thoughts coming into next week's round at Okayama from you?
Well, I've got to be honest, the racing just keeps getting better and better. Just showing Jacob Freeman right now, I was getting absolutely coated with DMs at the time, so I just wanted to make sure he got his little moment of fame there. Fair play, Jacob Freeman, the only Australian driver here on the grid. But I've got to say, what absolutely fantastic racing. And I think the biggest thing that I really like about this is fair play to CJ. Don't get wrong, we had a little bit of banter earlier, so Fozzie shows up, joins us, the race launches, and then gets a P1 in his class. I went purely off iRating, I promise, but certainly good to see Fozzie getting a good race. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, is that the best part about this series is that you do have the multiple different classes, so it doesn't matter what your skill level is, you do indeed have someone to play for. And you can see there, it generally does follow that pattern: the gold, the silver, and the bronze. There are a few anomalies, don't get me wrong, accidents happen in a race, but the point is everybody has somebody worth racing for. So definitely, it's been a lot of fun so far. I'm looking forward to next week at Okayama, and certainly it's been fantastic so far. Hopefully we'll see him around next season as well.
Yeah, I hope so too. We want to thank all of you for tuning in on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel. A big thanks once again to the supporters of this series, Podium 1, Rafa Racing Club, and Grid Finder. It's turned into a fantastic sequence of events here at the Nuremburg Grand Prix circuit. But we'll see if Artis Veldra is able to put the dramas of this round behind him and take the championship in style at Okayama next week. Put that date in your calendar and make sure to catch us here to bring the race to you. And as CJ said, sign-ups will be opening soon for next season, so stay tuned if you're interested in having a steer yourself. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box here on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel, also producing behind the scenes. We want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time.